and his partner.
How you guys doing today? All right, I got to do this. What do we want?
Equality!
When do we want it?
Now!
That's not loud enough. What do we want?
Equality!
And when do we want it?
Now!
Thank you. All right. Well, first off, I want to thank all of you for being here today. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. Thank you for your sacrifices, commitments, and for every contribution that you might have made, all of which are done for a brighter future for everyone in our community, the LGBT community. I'm sure that there are several of you here who have been on the front lines of this, what seems to be an endless battle for us. In fact, some of you, and I know a lot of you, have been part of this battle since long before I was even a thought. So I want to thank all of you honorable LGBT veterans out there. You know who you are. All of you have paved the way for the rest of us to continue to be inspired by each of you. Right now I'd like to share with all of you a working definition, if you will, of the word love. And I just came across it a couple of days ago and I thought that it was appropriate. It says, love is the fruit of the Spirit in which one desires the greatest good for the object loved and acts accordingly. What we all know in our hearts to be true, yet at the same time what our oppressors can't seem to wrap their heads around, is that what we fight for is done in the name of love. It's done out of the love for our partners, the love for our families, for our friends, and even the love that we should all have for ourselves. What I mean by this is our pride. And I'm not talking about that fabulous party that's thrown up in San Francisco every June either. But what I'm talking about here is the feeling that we should all carry with us around everywhere we go and every day of our lives. We should be proud that we're all unique, loving, vibrant, and accepting individuals. We should never let anyone take that sense of pride away from us. Nor should we let anyone make us feel unworthy to have the same rights solely because we choose to express our God-given right to love someone, regardless of what their gender may be. Was it not God Himself who created us? Will it not be God Himself and not the religious right who will judge us one day? I know in my heart that God, my God, made no mistakes when He made me, nor did He make any with any of you. So for those Bible thumpers out there who continue insisting that I live against His will, here's what I have to say to you. You can keep flipping through your holy book and throw any verse that you like at me, but it won't ever change who I am. Because to change who I am for your sake goes against the very thing that you preach. It would cause me to live my life in a manner that God had not intended the day that He created me. And I strongly feel that, and I hope all of you feel that way. No matter what your religious beliefs are, don't ever let anyone change you. It's not their right.
Just lost it. Mike. Somebody.
Oh, here we go.
Keep it going.
It's not right to infringe upon our rights like that. And more importantly, it's unconstitutional, and
You did it again.
Test. I'm confident that our courts will see it that way, yet again. So, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and it seems to me that there are three things that don't ever seem to go away: hate, intolerance, and oppression. If they're not inflicted on one group of people, then they're inflicted on another, and quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. When I think of hate, I think of the victims out there who have been forced to suffer unspeakable torture and at the hands of bigots and spiteful cowards, just like Alan Autry. And I think about all of the lives that have been lost, and I ask myself, why? Was it because these people had chosen to be true to themselves? Was it because they bravely chose not to lead false lives? Or was it because they weren't afraid to express themselves however they saw fit? However made them proud and happy to be just who they were. There are the stories of Matthew Shepard, Brandon Tina, Lawrence King, and Precious Armani, just to name a few. These are all examples of lives that have ended all too soon, and just in my generation alone. Yet somehow their deaths, among countless others who precede them, are still not enough to open up the eyes of our legislators in Capitol Hill, the very people that we elect to protect us. And I don't know how many of you know this, but there are congressmen who are still hesitant to even consider violence against gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgendered persons as hate crimes. I guess that they don't think that these brutal attacks on our brothers and sisters don't quite meet that hate crime criteria. And even when the motives behind these hateful attacks are obvious to the rest of us, they need to know that this is not acceptable. We need our voices to be heard, and now is the time to be heard. Not a couple of months from now, or a few weeks from now, even a couple of days from now, but right now. From coast to coast, around the world, we will be heard. Every person we come across from here on out will know that we are never going to back down. Ever. And they'll know that we're going to push our legislators to include violent crimes against any member of our community as a bona fide hate crime. Everyone will know that an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. And enough of our blood has been shed, and the time for our government to act is right now. Intolerance is another huge problem that we're faced with. As you all know now, a few days ago, our very own Robin McGee was forced to step down from her position as PTO president of her son's school. She was forced to do so because she took a very public stance against Proposition 8, and it was deemed a conflict of interest by the administrators. Now, in the short time that I've known Robin, I've been able to get a pretty good grasp on the type of person that she is, and that we all know that she is. I know that she's a loving mother, a devoted wife, and has committed herself to helping all of us achieve that shared dream of equality for all. This injustice against her is flat out disgusting, and it is a prime example of the intolerance that we as a community often have to face every day. It's of no importance to the school how much time and effort that she had invested into not only her son's future, but also into the respective futures of every other student there. Their website proclaims that they're a school of love. They may truly believe that the school represents love, but their actions last week have clearly spoken otherwise. And shame on them for their act of intolerance. I hope that they know, and I'm sure we all hope that they know, that they've lost an invaluable asset, all because of it.
Take away their tax exempt!
Take away their tax exempt, that's right.
Go, lady.
Looking back, I'm sure that we can all agree that oppression is nothing new to us or to anyone in our nation. Throughout American history, it seems as though the process of democracy has been used and abused over and over again. Minority groups like African Americans, Jews, Hispanics, Asians, women, and most definitely the LGBT community have each fallen victim to this type of abuse. Each has had their inherent rights, as provided for in the United States Constitution, denied at the hands of a majority rule. The type of system that allows for a mob rule to trump over the civil rights of any group is unjust and it's wrong. The late Coretta Scott King, who was a loving widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., wasn't afraid to take a public stance against the discrimination against our community. She was harshly criticized by religious leaders everywhere, yet she firmly stood her ground. As she once said, "I still hear people say that I should not be talking about the rights of lesbian and gay people, but I hasten to remind them that Martin Luther King Jr. himself once said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." She continued to say, "I appeal to everyone who believes in Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream to make room at the table of brotherhood and sisterhood for all lesbian and gay people." And those are wise words from one amazing woman who knew well the importance of equal treatment. No matter what your religious beliefs are, and no matter the color of your skin, and no matter if you are gay or if you're straight.